All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a piece of work that is, well, it's pretty mind-bending. It claims to give us a map for understanding just about every part of human behavior. It's called Power versus Force, and it comes from 20 years of research by a Dr. David R. Hawkins. So yeah, let's get right into it.
Just think about that for a second. Seriously, what if you could get a straight yes or no answer to any question? Not just the little things, but the big ones, the ones that keep you up at night. What if you could tell truth from falsehood with like 100% certainty? This isn't just some sci-fi fantasy. It's the incredible premise at the very heart of the story we're exploring today.
So, who's the person at the center of this incredible claim? That would be Dr. David R. Hawkins. He was a really well-known psychiatrist and physician. But his journey into this, it wasn't just some academic exercise. It was a deeply personal quest, one that was literally born out of his own intense suffering and a spiritual transformation that basically set him on a path to question everything. And when I say quest, I mean it. Just look at this timeline. This was his life's work. It all kicked off in 1965 with that life-changing personal crisis. By 73, he's already pushing the envelope, working alongside a Nobel Prize winner, Linus Pauling. And then, from 1975 all the way to 1994, he dedicates 2 solid decades to researching this wild discovery he believed he'd stumbled upon.
So what exactly was this discovery? Well, to get our heads around Hawkins' work, we first have to talk about its foundation. It's a science called kinesiology, and it suggests there's a kind of hidden wisdom tucked away inside our own bodies.
The basic idea is actually super simple. Think of your body as having this built-in binary switch, a 1 or a 0, an on or an off. When your body's around a positive life-supporting stimulus, your muscles go strong. But when it's around a negative, unhealthy one, they instantly go weak. And this isn't just a theory, it's something you can physically test and see happen over and over again.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Researchers like a Dr. John Diamond found that this whole strong/weak response works even when the person has no idea what they're being tested on. For example, a person holding a plain, unmarked envelope with, say, an artificial sweetener inside would suddenly test weak. But if you swapped it for an identical envelope with vitamin C, they'd test strong. Their conscious mind had no clue what was inside, but their body knew. So the groundwork was there, right? The body can tell the difference between what's good for it and what's bad for it. But this is where Dr. Hawkins took that principle and made an absolutely astonishing leap, a jump that turned a simple physical test into something much, much bigger. And this is the game changer. Hawkins thought, okay, if the body knows what's physically good for it, maybe it also has a way of recognizing what is conceptually true. So he tried it. Instead of having people hold physical substances, he had them hold statements in their mind. The results were just revolutionary. The body's muscles tested strong for statements that were true and went weak for statements that were false.
Okay, so you have to ask the obvious question. Where's the body getting this information? How does it know? Hawkins' conclusion was that our bodies aren't just these isolated meat suits walking around. We're all like computer terminals, and we're all hooked into this massive, universal database. And that database is consciousness itself. He proposed that every single one of us has access to it.
So, after those 20 years of research, after millions and millions of calibrations on thousands of different people, Hawkins used this discovery to create the ultimate prize of his quest, a literal map of the energy fields of human consciousness. And right at the heart of this entire map, there is one single number that changes everything. That number is 200. And it's not random. According to all of his research, it is the most important dividing line in the entire human experience. See, the level 200 on his map corresponds with the emotion of courage, and it's the critical tipping point. Everything below 200, all those emotions like fear, anger, and shame, are states of force. That's where we see ourselves as victims of the world. But the moment you cross 200, you start to access real power. It's the point where you stop blaming everything and everyone else, and you start taking real responsibility for your own existence.
So let's actually take a quick look at the math. It's a logarithmic scale, which is a fancy way of saying that the jump in energy from, say, courage to acceptance is way, way bigger than the jump from shame to anger. Down at the bottom, you have these really draining states like shame and apathy. But once you cross that crucial 200 line with courage, you start moving into these truly empowering states like reason, love, and eventually peace. Each level is like a whole different reality.
Now here's where things get a little sobering. According to Hawkins's research, a shocking 85% of the entire world's population calibrates below that critical level of 200. But, and this is a huge but, because the scale isn't linear, the incredible positive energy from the 15% who operate from a place of power is so immense that it actually counterbalances all the negativity of the majority. It lifts up all of humanity.
So the difference between power and force is everything. Force is all about pushing. It always creates an equal and opposite pushback. It divides people, it judges, and it always has to explain itself. Power, though, power is different. It brings things together. It's associated with truth and compassion. It doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. It just is.
Okay, so this is all fascinating theory, right? But how do you actually use it? How do we take this idea of a key to the database of consciousness and make it real? Well, the technique itself is surprisingly straightforward.
You need two people. One person, the subject, holds out an arm. The other person, the tester, applies gentle but firm pressure with two fingers. All the while, the subject just holds a simple statement in their mind. If that statement is true, or if it calibrates above 200, the arm stays locked and strong. If it's false or calibrates below 200, the muscle just gives way and the arm goes down. It's a direct physical yes or no from the body.
But, and this is really important, this isn't some party trick. To get accurate results, you have to follow some strict rules. You have to frame questions as statements about the past or present. You can't use it to predict the future. And most importantly, your intention matters. Both people doing the test have to be neutral, and they themselves have to be coming from a place of integrity, meaning they have to calibrate above 200. Someone who is deeply skeptical, which calibrates at 160, just won't get clear answers.
And that really brings us to the end of this journey. The implications here they're just massive. It suggests that every single one of us has a built-in compass for reality. And it leaves us with one heck of a question to think about. If this map is real, if this key to truth really does exist inside of you, where would you let it guide you? What's the first thing you'd want to know?